You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Riot After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Riot After Show.
Hey, AFTERBUZZ TV fans, we're back with another episode of Riot. We're on episode 4 this time, which means we're halfway through the season. There's 8 episodes in total. Great to have you guys with us. That is the theme song to The Gong Show, a nice little throwback game show. Adrian Snow, my lovely co-host,
hello,
with us again tonight. How did you feel about episode 4?
You know, I really liked the guest tonight, Rob Delaney and David Arquette.
Exactly.
I thought they were much more amiable and happy to be there and calm.
Definitely. It seemed like they
that.
sort of vibed off each other
Yeah.
and both had a very positive energy this time, which was great. Last episode, I feel like maybe Tom Green and Andy Dick sort of both have the same thing where it's a bit negative. And so can kind of drag the scene down a little bit into a specific area where this was more anything can happen.
Yeah. It was just, last week was more, I felt kind of like there was a weird tension where everyone was maybe mildly irritated, and then it didn't work. And they actually were able to actually get more in this episode, I think, because the guys were just easier to work with, and I think a little bit more into the game.
Absolutely. I definitely felt as a viewer that the contestants were very eager to kind of get in and play with the scene a lot, which helped. I mean, it seemed like everybody was having so much fun, you know, it kind of rubbed off on me, which was great.
Yeah, it was a lot more fun.
Definitely. Speaking of fun, I want to segue back to Maria's book. It is recently out. A great-looking read. Very full. I mean, look at it. You can flip through. Packed with information. Obviously, it's titled Every Girl's Guide to the Diet and Fitness. So it's packed with everything you need to know about, you know, recipes. It's packed with pictures of good diet routines, workout stuff, pretty much everything. Yeah, exactly. Get educated, people.
I don't know what
exactly.
that's about,
I have no idea what that's about, but we can learn because the book's out. Exactly.
So
if you guys are fans of the show, definitely go check this out. You know, it's a great way to support the show and keep it free for you guys. I mean, we really want to keep giving you guys content of all your favorite shows, not just about Riot. And that's one of the best ways you can contribute. You know, definitely other ways. Go to iTunes if you're listening there. Rate and review the show. Same with YouTube, just right under. You know, we love comments and hearing from you guys, even on Twitter and anything.
Yeah. Definitely contact us.
Absolutely. Moving to the first segment of the show, slideshow they always started off with. What did you think about the sort of laundromat scene?
I liked how it started, because for me it was kind of like a Charlie Chaplin start, because it was just her by herself. There was no speaking, and it was just kind of her figuring out the laundry. If they did a silent version of that, where it was all physical comedy, I think I'd appreciate it much more.
Interesting. Yeah.
I liked that one moment, and then after that, I kind of was like, oh, and the mess begins. So.
Well, yeah, I think they sort of wanted to make more of a focus. I think the backdrop where it was more machines was sort of a painting, just part of the set.
Yeah.
So they weren't interacting with that, and that sort of drove the focus to the machines at the top, and I think that it made it easier to follow. I mean, the chaos was sort of central to that area, which I think helped. Obviously, when the bubble started exploding, we got a little hectic, but, you know, the show is called Riot, so we expect some.
Of course. I do like it when the sets are cleaner. It's just, it's easier for my eyes to follow what's going on. I think it's easier for the actors as well to kind of play on the set and enjoy themselves. And everyone did come on with strong characters, and so they were all had something to do, which was nice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about this, in previous after shows. I think they did a good job, Rove especially, giving them a very specific objective. He said, like, you two, like, are customers, you see each other all the time, and you don't like each other, then the manager role, you really are going to try to make it as clean as possible. So they each had something to do, and so when they had purpose sort of in the scene, kind of reacting with each other. So I think that sort of worked pretty well. And the clothesline especially made it a lot easier. I think the physical comedy of that, just David Arquette
Kind of
shimmying across really helped.
I actually expected more from the clothesline because the promos for the show were pretty much that shot of him on the clothesline and like other people around it. So I expected it to kind of be a little bit more hectic. But no, he did. I really loved David Arquette in this whole thing. He was really great and fun to watch.
Yeah, no, he was definitely positive. I mean, I think a lot of the other actors fed off of his energy. He was so positive and sort of energetic. They were able to kind of bring that in and kind of feed it back, which really made a difference. I like where they were going with the laundromat. I'd love to sort of see a little bit more in that area. The clothesline seemed to work and kind of help them. Anything that helps them navigate through, I mean, it's such a tough obstacle. Anything that sort of helps brace them, or, like obviously in the other episodes, they've had chairs and stuff that help. I think a great scenario would be maybe like a dry cleaners or something where they could have hooks and sort of swing around or something. I mean, anything that they can kind of monkey through.
Anything to navigate.
Exactly.
I think one part that I did like was when Brian Palermo finally just gave up and took the stairs and then slid right back down. So I liked that, he was willing to step outside and be like, this is a set and I can take the stairs if I want to.
Exactly. Yeah, he was just like, okay, I'm going to have to pull rank right here. We'll do this. But then he just completely slipped and fell. So I guess it's back to square one at that point.
Well, it was fun.
Yeah, no, definitely. Another old fave, Mime Sweeper, was back.
It was back.
This time, which was nice. They kind of went in a different direction, kind of playing the opposite, where instead of only using your body, you only use your words last time.
Yes.
So now we're back to the old ways of Mime Sweeper. Sweeper. And I thought it was good. They revealed something new, the name of the Wrecking Ball.
Yeah, Miley.
Miley, yes.
I don't know if maybe Rove just improvised that right there. Or, but it was nice. It was like, oh,
it's definitely a fitting name, of course. Obviously, Miley Cyrus and her hit song "Wrecking Ball." I thought it was good. I was very surprised at how fast David Arquette got Vegas, the showgirl. Interesting that that came so quickly to him.
Yeah, I think
to be expected, though. I guess.
I think it's knowledge that he likes party girls recently.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I know he used to be dated or married to Courtney Cox, I believe.
Yes.
But obviously, Hollywood relationships don't always last, as we know.
I don't know them personally. From what I know, gossip-wise, they had a pretty good marriage, and they're still very friendly and on good terms. But I think he does like the party scene a bit, or
fair enough. Well, I mean, as many celebrities do. Plus, I mean, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, as everyone knows.
One can only hope.
Exactly. Except for herpes, they'll come back with you.
Don't take that with you.
Moving on to the next one, Bunch of Jerks.
Yes. It was a quick one.
It was a very quick one, a lot fast. I mean, they always do sort of the three segments, the questions, the alphabet, and then just sort of a
celebrity.
Celebrity movie, song, musician, that kind of category, if you will. I thought it was good. I mean, the questions was a little weaker, I think. The sailors theme, I mean, it seemed like they both kind of gave up a little too easily.
I think they kind of just got stuck in a rut. And sometimes that happens where you're just you don't know what the next thing you should say is. And
Definitely.
you're kind of just repeating each other. So
Right.
I was fine with it ending. And that's probably my least favorite of the bunch of jerks. So I was like, yeah, great, it's over.
Well, it does serve sort of as a warm-up, though.
Yeah.
I mean, having that go first, it kind of shakes the cobwebs off. We can get the creative juices flowing a bit more. Because the other ones, I feel like are pretty hard. It seemed the most clear this episode that with the alphabet, at least, the actors are definitely not seeing what the audience is seeing. I mean, we see what letter that's coming up and that they're on. I don't think that they see that at all in the studio.
I never thought they did. I mean, you never know, but
Right.
I think that's actually the stronger one, the one that they should start with, just because it kind of gets people's brains going without having to rely on being in question form. But yeah, yes, it was cute and sad. I mean, David Arquette turned. He was like, "I'm dyslexic. I don't know.
I got nothing. I'm sorry. This
going
is
on."
a bad game for me.
And so that's when it was like, okay, yeah, they don't know. They
Yeah,
can't see
I mean,
it.
clearly for any dyslexic person, that's probably not their jam,
Yeah.
for sure. But yeah, no, I thought it was good. It would be so difficult to kind of keep track of each letter, and you'd have to listen so intensely. You know, it's a credit to really how hard improv is, and especially in kind of an acting game like that.
Yeah.
They definitely do a way better job than I personally could.
It's a rough game, that acting.
Definitely. No one ever said acting is easy. And then the ad agency, I thought that was pretty good. Obviously, they got sort of hung up on the Oceans trilogy.
You know, I would struggle with Julia Roberts as well. I mean, I know a lot of her movies, and Pretty Woman is one of my favorite movies, but in terms of phrasing them into a sentence, it's not like Tom Hanks was kind of easier for people because he kind of had weirdly enough phraseable movie titles. But when you're going into like Ocean's 11, and then I wish they had said Mary Riley. That would have been interesting.
Right.
But,
I was waiting for Eat, Pray, Love. I didn't hear that. I feel like there's a lot, or that's an easier one to kind of create a sentence with.
Yeah. Well, see, now that I'm thinking about it, I have like 20.
Yeah, just, now,
like,
after the fact.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, I imagine those actors feel the same way. Just like, I should have said this.
That was funny with the Oceans. It was just kind of like,
just Oceans.
I have nothing else. So.
Yeah, it was interesting they let the first one play because even that was sort of out of context. I mean, it definitely works as a Julia Roberts movie, but he didn't really tie it into a sentence that made sense.
He used it as an exclamation.
Yeah, it was just like, Ocean's 11.
Fair enough. I mean, he did have something else he said after
Right.
it, so I'll give him that. But the other one was just like, Ocean's 12. I don't know what else to say. So.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I do like that game. I think it does have a lot of potential. I love the version with Tom Hanks because I feel like that's such an easy one for people to sort of pull out and use. I mean, he's got such a wide library.
Yeah, that and Michael Jackson, it was a lot easier with those. I think the further they go, it might get a little difficult, but
definitely they might run out of celebs to
like don't
pull
do any
from.
recent stars. You're gonna only have about 5 films now.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean, there's still some some A-list celebs to pull through. I mean, we have 4 more episodes, so hopefully they can pull for.
I think they'll do well.
Yeah, exactly.
Marlon Brando would be fun.
Definitely. I mean, if the older actor maybe, I mean, that may make it a little bit more difficult for the viewers and stuff. I mean, it's sort of a primetime show, so I think they're struggling with making it very audience friendly to a wide group of people, kids included.
Oh yeah. Then they should just do Samuel L. Jackson and Morgan Freeman.
Exactly.
Yeah. Done. They're in everything.
So. Or, Morgan Freeman should at least narrate everything. I think that's unanimous consent for the world.
The world. If he could just narrate my life as I'm going through it,
exactly.
I would appreciate that so much. It would be the best ever.
Yeah, if my life is ever a book on tape, it's him reading it.
All the way.
But yeah, we got a new one right after, Floored. And I loved this one. I don't know about you, but I think it has huge potential. I mean, just the different scenarios.
Yes.
I thought it was almost better than Slideshow in terms of the way that it worked. The ninjas was kind of a fun one where they could do sort of matrixy fighting and spins. David Arquette obviously did that sort of breakdancing, like somersault twirl thing.
If you have the talent,
attack.
Use it. Yeah,
exactly.
No, it was easier to watch, definitely, because there isn't so much going on. It was fun to kind of see them figure out how to navigate when you're supposed to look like you're walking on the floor. And when what was her name? Meryl came in and she flipped around and it looked like she was doing a handstand.
Just like stuck on the ceiling.
So it was a lot more fun to see that. I do think it got a little cluttered, just because there were so many people and everyone was just kind of spinning. I really wanted a Matrix reference. I was just dying for someone to do a Matrix reference because it's all about you looking like you're just floating in the air. So
I mean, I kept thinking about the Matrix scene, when Neo fights Morpheus for the first time. It was basically that. So
so it was a lot of fun to watch, and it'll be interesting to see like what kind of sets they use with that.
Right, exactly. I was trying to think of what ones would be great. I mean, the ninja obviously nailed it.
Good.
Maybe like a space thing or something, or even underwater. I feel like they can have a lot of fun with it. I do agree with you when there were so many people, it's obviously tough for them to move because they can't really roll over each other.
Yeah.
So maybe 3 people would be a more kind of workable
3 would be a good
number.
Limit. Yeah, not 4. 4 is just kind of, they're all kind of, and there's height ratios, and if people are really tall or they have long limbs, so like getting whacked in the face or something.
Yeah. I did love, though, when Brian died, he sort of like
he just
floated up like an angel.
Yes.
That was hilarious.
No.
So well played.
A lot of fun entrances and exits on that. So,
Exactly, yeah. Especially, I mean, with the ninja thing, they can kind of be just, there's so many people on the roof.
Yes. Yes. They're all just popping down from the roof.
Yeah.
So, fair enough.
Definitely. That was a one I definitely hope comes back, for sure.
That's a lot of fun.
And then we went back to an old fave, the Alpha Body.
Yes.
We actually got a treat. We got 2 this time.
I really do think it's because the guys everything was going really fast.
Right.
Like they were just picking up on things very quickly. So I think they kind of gave that as maybe a bonus, or maybe they do a few takes and they decided to use 2 of them.
Right.
Who knows? But it was fun to see them do 2 of them. Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, it's such a short and quick, sweet one. It was great to see them do it again. And it's just kind of one that I feel like more than some others, the audience can definitely play along.
Yeah.
I mean, I found myself guessing at what the letter was. I mean, that B. I was like, what is that?
Well, I think they'd already had one where it was like a weird crotch move, and they didn't want to do like another weird like lowercase b thing. So
with the first one, Flex, it was possibly the worst F I've ever seen in that game in Alpha Body history.
Way to do the F, and it was weird, but it was fun to watch.
Yeah, they got it.
Yeah, they got it. They figured it out. So
definitely. I mean, that sort of X factor where there's like one tricky letter, I feel like does sort of play into it and make it a little bit more fun. It's not too easy. It's like, that's clearly an X. This is definitely an E. What is that? Like, and then you can kind of think, what words could they make?
And then when you see it all together at the end, you can kind of figure it out. Like, I was like, oh, that has to be a B.
Right.
For bags.
Yeah, bags, exactly.
It looks too weird. I don't know what else that could be if that wasn't it. So
yeah,
it's a. I lost my train of thought. It's fun. It's a fun little.
Definitely one of the highlights for me, at least with Riot is that hopefully they can kind of have fun with that and do more of them. I like the 2 format, like just back to back.
Yeah,
knock them off really quick.
Exactly, and it's fun for normally, usually it's fun for the guests.
Exactly,
So,
exactly.
Yes, it looks like it.
Yeah, and then they followed it up with another new one, Dogs at Work.
Yes.
This one was interesting.
It was a little odd.
Yeah, little odd. It reminded me of an old Whose Line Is It Anyway sketch where there would be just 2 actors. One would have his hands behind his back, and the other would be unseen, just doing the hands.
Yeah.
Obviously, they can't just plagiarize that completely.
Well, it's an old. I mean, I think that's even like Three Stooges type of deal. They can definitely do that. I just think they're trying to be a little bit more outlandish with some of the games they decide to do.
Right.
The dog, though.
Yeah, I mean it's so
adorable.
unpredictable with a an animal. You don't know exactly what they're gonna do, and I feel like it'd be hard for the actor doing the hands to even see what was going on. I mean, I'm very impressed he was able to grab those hot dogs, and
Jordan did a great job. I think they probably let him look at it before
Right.
the dog goes, and maybe he can see a little bit outside, so whatever's in like his immediate reach. But he did a very good job, and he had a little fun with it, with putting like the ketchup on the soda and everything. I was waiting for the dog to eat a lot faster than he did. He was very obedient.
Right.
So he did not eat any of those hot dogs until David Arquette.
yeah, I was surprised that he went for that. I mean,
Yeah.
basically from the dog's mouth too.
Well,
The commitment
he's
to the
committed.
acting craft.
He's
Yeah,
committed to
exactly.
it.
I
think
like
he was trying
it.
to
I like
share
it.
it. He at one point angled the hot dog up to the dog. or
Yeah, if
something
he was doing like a Lady and the Tramp
Yeah.
move, like let's meet in the middle.
Maybe it was his dog.
maybe.
Maybe. So it was cute though.
Yeah, no, I kind of the first one that involved an animal, so that was interesting. I wonder if they're going to do that in future episodes.
I think it's a possibility. I've started to realize that they're just kind of throw games in and throw games out and
Right.
bring them back, and it's just going to be more of like a riot type
Definitely,
of deal.
definitely.
Which I appreciate, because I think if it had been like the first episode where it was just like the same 7 or 8 games over and over again, that would probably get a little dry after a while.
Absolutely.
So-
No, I completely agree. I definitely feel like when they keep kind of switching in games and even the main cast members, obviously we get 2 celebrities, different each time, but they kind of switch in and have like a
Yeah.
rotation of other improv actors. And I feel like it keeps it fresh. I mean, you don't really know like, oh, now it's going to be this, like now it's going to be this. They sort of not only switch the segments they use, but also the order too.
Yeah, and you get different dynamics, so it kind of keeps you on your feet. And
Right.
when you think it's going to be one thing, it's another. So
Definitely.
I thought In the Dark usually comes a lot sooner, so it was nice to see it kind of being a little bit later.
Exactly. And I feel like watching it live, maybe it does flow like that. I feel like, they could just sort of roll with the punches. And if this is really working, let's keep doing this. Which is kind of a unique way to do a show. And it makes it a little bit more interesting that it's not so like,
This is how it
this
goes.
is
Yeah.
this is this. Mixing it up.
Yeah.
Really playing into the Riot name. Exactly.
Yeah,
as they
right.
should. So kudos,
Yes.
Fox.
Kudos.
Yeah, then we went back to one of the old formats, the shadow puppets.
Yes.
They started off with a really hard one. Great Gatsby, I feel like is impossible.
Wait, no, they start off with Frozen.
Oh,
which
Frozen,
was
Frozen.
Crazy
Of course.
easy for Jordan. He got
Yeah.
it immediately. But, I mean, it's been so popular lately, I wasn't surprised.
Exactly.
But you thought The Great Gatsby was difficult?
I did. I feel like that's such a hard thing to sort of mime with puppets. I mean, it's so nondescript in what they do. I mean, the story is obviously very vast, but it's not very, visually distinct.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have the green light, and if you're not going to fake the shooting of Great Gatsby, then I guess it can be a little, yeah. I guess I just know that story so well.
Right. But I mean,
But-
it's like, how do you recreate
Yeah.
old New York within shadows
That's,
and
I
stuff?
think, when
It's
they
like,
have to start doing charades where it's like 2 words, and
Right.
they could even just kind of try and spell it like GG and then like have someone
Right.
dancing, or do some weird Leonardo DiCaprio reference or Robert Redford reference. And
Right, with
There's
shadows
ways.
though, do you think they can that is blatantly Robert Redford. Very tough. I mean,
Even
it's just a
that.
tough one to do.
it was a tough one. It was
They
a
can
For
do the
sure.
symbol for Beats by Dre.
Exactly. Yeah, just make it rain. The
Actually, oh no, it was
$3
Jay Z,
billion.
not Dre. What am I thinking?
Ooh, yes, Jay-Z.
Jay-Z, yeah,
exactly.
my bad.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
course.
They could. I think there were more creative ways, but it is a hard one, and so you kind of have to really think outside the box when you get those kind of like
Right.
difficult
right.
ones.
The Lincoln one I thought was again too easy because if they had
so?
had the hat, I mean, there's only the top hat is a kind of a dead
Yeah.
giveaway. But after that, Home Alone I thought was perfect.
awesome.
I was like,
Now that one would have been hard, but
Yeah.
just the face slap. So it was nice that they had the little house.
house,
And then they had
exactly.
him run and like do a big move.
exactly. I mean, I wonder what other kind of props were back there for Great Gatsby. I mean, I feel like the producers and stuff sort of figure out ways that they can the actors can kind of play with what's there. You know, a few episodes back when they were doing Toy Story, they obviously had like the spring and you know, jagged saws and stuff. I feel like they put out stuff that can be used for a lot of these, like the Home Alone thing. Also, they kind of recycled it for Animal House, and so I thought those kind of played really well together.
Yeah, I think they don't usually change the props back there,
Right?
Because I've seen the same rotation of props. So I guess with Great Gatsby, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done.
Just put the house really far away from the light, so it's
have
huge.
Him reach out to the light. Yeah, who knows? I could see what they were doing, but if I hadn't seen Great Gatsby, then I wouldn't know either.
Or read the book.
Or read the book. I've done all three. I've seen the original, remake, and read the book. So.
Well, look at you, just the Great Gatsby expert.
I don't even like it that much, but yeah.
Nice. But yeah, back to In the Dark. I feel like I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this one in this episode, not just In the Dark in general. You know, I feel like the set was a little smaller, which helped a little bit kind of drive where people could stand and kind of move around. You know, the first one that was like a dinner table was very hard to kind of navigate.
Oh gosh, yeah.
You know, they've had the bed in the past, and that's sort of easier because there's one large object in the middle. I felt like that the setup worked well, but I feel like the objectives could have been a little bit more clear. You know, they were kind of playing with the ring on the guy's finger. They gave him the objectives to sort of find the will, but I feel like a little bit more, you know, checking his pockets or opening the other half of the casket,
I think,
or the coffin, I guess.
Yeah, I think same word, same difference.
Synonyms,
Yes.
hopefully.
I think that I actually understood this one a little bit better, and they kind of came in, at least with Jessica, she came in with a pretty strong intention of like what she wanted, that she was like the money grabbing woman from Texas. Not all Texans are money grabbers. P.S. I'm a Texan, but she kind of came in immediately reached for his ring, and I always like it when they have a person in there because it's kind of a surprise. Though I will say, for a minute I thought they could see, because it just seemed like they were able to look at each other pretty clearly, and they were able to kind of navigate pretty clearly. But that might have also just been editing, because they were doing a few quick edits to make it not so, I guess, jumpy.
Right.
But I enjoyed this one. I thought that they kind of, I don't think it was necessarily that they had to find the will, but that they were all coming in to discuss the will.
Right.
And then from there, they brought in the neighbor who could, you know, kind of try and get in on the will as well. So it was kind of like a bunch of money grabbing people and them being weird. It's always hectic.
Yeah.
It's always hectic.
Definitely. I feel like maybe they brought in those huge kind of wheels of flowers.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe other props that they could use a little bit more. I mean, I really like the one with Jason Alexander, because they were, you know, kind of playing with the lotion. It was kind of messy, and they were slapping it all over that guy, and they had no idea what he looked like. So that was sort of like a fun moment to just kind of like eke at.
That was a fun one. And I think there was stuff on the table. I just don't think they were going for it. I think it's kind of their decision, you know. And then also, Rove kind of navigated them to the lotion, whereas with this scene, he was just kind of letting them kind of, you know, talk it out.
Right.
So.
Yeah, again, just such a difficult set to kind of work around. I mean, in pitch black.
If they had moved it, I think if the casket or coffin had been where the podium was, and the podium had been there, then I think it would have been,
like in the back wall. Okay.
A little bit easier. So it was just bad placement.
Definitely. I mean, I guess they kind of have to make one side dedicated for the cameras. But I agree with you. That may, you know, that kind of switching, the layout of the room could have helped a little bit more. Definitely. Maybe just the camera. I like how they have camera guys so they can kind of follow the action.
Yeah, they're kind of behind. I think they're they have 2 placed cameras from what it looks like, because the cameras don't have any type of movement, really, it doesn't look like, and they're...
Right, I saw a little bit of movement in previous episodes. I don't know if they're
Oh.
kind of like locking off a little bit more.
Maybe.
I know in the one at least with the dining table, there were definite camera guys, and they were kind of following it. I mean, that was very chaotic of a segment. So maybe they're kind of locking it off a little bit more, which is good. I think it's sort of focusing it on one specific area of this is where you go to like interact with things. I think helps because they have no idea where to go.
And just thinking back to the Tom Green, Andy Dick one, they immediately found the camera and stuck their faces in it. Obviously,
yeah, and definitely,
so it seemed stable in that
exactly.
in that episode.
Yeah, and they kind of got a little distracted with it, and I think that sort of took them out of
They were distracted when they walked in.
Yeah, exactly. Just grab the ficus again.
Yes.
But yeah, then they went back to slideshow. They had a new kind of setting, the painting a new room. Again, I think some of the tools did work. The kind of long paint roller. Jordan used sort of to kind of like push her away.
Yes.
So I thought that was kind of a good tool for the setting. It kind of made sense in that reality. But I mean, that one's definitely tough and obviously high potential for messiness with all the paint.
I mean, as soon as you said paint, I was like, okay, well, maybe someone will just like blatantly throw paint at someone else. And they kind of did that. And it was interesting to see that the 2 celebrity guys were like, no, we are not doing that. So it was a fun one. It's messy. I think that's the last one's a little bit shorter usually from what I can tell now, and sometimes a little bit messier. It's kind of just like, well, let's just wrap it up, and they don't have to continue on in the show, so let's just make it messy and for the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't a lot of storyline, and the paint was fun, but I don't know. Yeah, the slideshow, it has yet to win me over.
I mean, it's such a difficult one. It sort of is mostly about how crazy it is and a lot less, I feel like, more than any other of their sketches. You know, it's so much so the environment and, you know, so little of the actual improv.
I thought the best one was Cheryl Hines. I think the one that she did.
The bar?
Yeah, the bar. Because they were able to play and they were able to kind of like goof off and have little tricks. And they could sit down, which kind of, sometimes I just want them to sit down.
Yeah, exactly. Well, then they can kind of establish a character and it does make a scene. And having to watch a scene while, you know, some things are crazy is a lot more enjoyable than just watching everybody slide and slam into the corner.
Yeah, it gets old. It gets old after a while.
Definitely. I was very impressed when one of the girls did basically a full splits in the corner.
Yeah, she just kind of slid right into that. So, but it was, that was impressive. I couldn't just remember if she was wearing her own clothes. I always get nervous if they're wearing their own clothes sometimes. I'm like, this is really messy, and you were
just ruining all that.
In it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they have, you know, wardrobe people.
Yeah.
Interesting, though, for the celebrities, because they get pretty messy, too. So I wonder if they're just going in knowing that their clothes are probably going to get ruined.
I think they have the option, which is why some of them sit out. I know with Steve Carell, when he did it, I was surprised that he did wear his own clothes, essentially, except for, like, the uniform and on the T-shirt. So when it started to get messy and there was like oil and like ketchup being thrown, I was like, oh, okay. I guess he's comfortable with that.
Yeah, definitely.
So, because he's going to smell like that for the rest of the show. So it's always fun to see, but at the same time, I always kind of just want to wrap up. And I felt like that with this one especially, even the audience, it would kind of cut to an audience member and they'd be like, okay, this is old. And David Arquette even kind of was like, okay, this is old. So the last slideshow, if it's not a winner, then it gets a little old.
Definitely. I wonder, because it's sort of becoming the main distinct thing that they do, that Riot does every time. I wonder if that's going to become one that they do switch out. I mean, they've definitely taken some other favorites. Mime Sweeper is kind of a staple, too. And they the other episode didn't have that. So I wonder maybe they may dial back and just do one slideshow or something. It'll be interesting to see.
I don't think they will, only because the slideshow was the name of the Australian show.
Right.
And I think that's kind of, and even from the French concept of the show or version of the show, I think that's the big thing about it, is the 22-degree stage.
Right.
But
Well, I mean, it is unique. There is no other show, at least in America, that does a 22-degree angled stage. So it is tough. I mean, for good reason. It's you can't really do much.
No, but I mean, hopefully they can, with the sets that they do, they can kind of navigate where they want to take it.
Right.
They can have one be really messy, maybe have one a little bit more scene focused.
Exactly. I mean, some I was just kind of brainstorming about might work. I mean, I thought the clothesline in the first slideshow worked well. Maybe like a jungle gym or something, or they've done military stuff. Maybe something with ropes.
Yeah.
Just something to help them. I mean, I feel like the actors get so thrown off when they're sliding and trying to stop themselves.
Really
they kind of lose everything.
Velcro wall.
A Velcro
I really
wall, yeah.
want that. If they just have it where they can run and jump.
Or just like
they
sticky
might have
paper.
to pad the floor for that one.
Right.
But yeah, just something kind of to stabilize, or something that's a little bit more interactive for
just
the
giant suction
actors.
cups.
Yeah, something fun, just to kind of be goofy with. I think
Yeah.
that'd be fun.
Yeah, or maybe just like a plunger. It could be like a crazy bathroom situation.
Anything to stop them from sliding all
Exactly.
the time. So, I know it's called slideshow, but still.
Yeah,
So we'll
exactly.
see.
Yeah, I think it's actors versus sliding.
Yes.
Versus the slideshow. But we will wait and see. There's 4 more episodes.
There are.
So we are halfway in.
Yeah, next week is Michael Ian Black and Chris Kattan.
Ooh, that I think could be the best one. I'm a big fan of both.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mango has a special place
Mango.
in many people's hearts.
I haven't seen Chris Kattan in forever.
Exactly. It's great to see him back. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's kind of a great thing about this show is they take celebrities that you haven't seen in a while, Tom Green, obviously, and people you wouldn't think have a background in improv or you could even do that. I mean, I did not expect David Arquette to do that, or Jason Alexander. We see them in such good God, I'm so tongue tied.
Take some water.
We see them in such specific roles a lot
Yeah.
of the time. Jason Alexander always sort of plays a George Costanza-like character. It was great to see him completely different and kind of be him and just be in whatever scene that they were doing. It was kind of a nice treat to see a completely different side.
Yeah, well, I've seen Jason Alexander in some other things, and he's a really great actor. I think that's kind of the downfall of being in a successful TV show is that
You
people
get
just,
typecast, exactly.
don't see you any other way. And with David Arquette, he comes from, for me at least, a pretty comedic background, and he's done some serious things as well. But I definitely expected, especially with his energy, for him to kind of be on point with it.
Definitely. I thought he did a great job, as did Rob Delaney. I think, both their kind of comedic personalities really helped the episode, kind of go along, and all the actors seemed to respond really well.
Yeah, I think it was a lot more fun for them just overall.
Exactly.
And Rob Delaney and David Arquette were so quick with everything. So I'm sure that was a lot of fun to shoot that day. Or maybe it was horrible, I don't know. But it seemed like a lot of fun.
Exactly. Well, with that, I guess we will just wait and see because we have a week to go, and then we get our next episode with Chris Kattan and Michael Ian Black. Really looking forward to that episode. I love both of them. Michael Ian Black is hilarious as well. And great to see Chris Kattan kind of come back into the limelight a little bit. Adrian, before we go, where can the fans find you?
They can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Miss Adrian Snow.
Excellent. And fans, you can always find me at JB_Zimmerman on Twitter and Instagram. We will see you guys next week.
Yeah.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.